There we go. Tied at 10, not anymore. This time ratified is down. Here in double 02. We'll go ahead again inside Tampa Bay. Gators are going to crash hole 19.
Time is happening. And the title of the since 2000.
Welcome CDL fans to our May 16th edition of CDL Live, and yes, it is time, 1 week away from the start of the playoffs, only 3 game days left to go in the regular season, including this one right here, and things are tense right now. Only 3 playoff spots clinched in the Western Conference coming into this game day, and in the East there's 5. Only 5 clinch, so only half the playoff spots have been clinched in the Eastern Conference coming into today's set of games. Still, 6 teams on the outside of the playoffs looking in the Eastern Conference, and same number in the East. 6 teams on the outside looking in, still trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Of course, some of those hopes on the line today. That being said, the Development League, we know a little bit more. We do know quite a bit more than what we know with the pros. We know 6 teams that are going, and the only thing in question is who's going to win the Western Division and take the number 3 seed of the Development League, and who's going to be in that 8th seed, perhaps. So those are the only questions that need to be answered. Otherwise, we know all the other 6 teams that are going to be in it. But that being said, May 16th, scores from the D-League. Orlando defeats Alaska 15-5. Anaheim defeats Toronto 20-15 in overtime. Richmond defeats Oakland, actually. 15-10 the final there. Montreal serving donuts for dinner. They defeat the Utah Lakers 15-0. Baltimore beating Vancouver 20-15 in overtime. Calgary defeats Rochester 15-10. Syracuse defeats Edmonton 15-5. 15-0. Oklahoma City defeated Memphis. And with that win, Oklahoma City clinched first place in the Development League. So they will be the number 1 seed yet again heading to the playoffs. Cincinnati took a 15-10 loss at the hands of Little Rock. Big upset there. And Kansas City clinched the number 4 seed of the D-League by getting a 15-5 win over Mexico City. So as for Vancouver, a tough overtime loss, and that actually knocked them out of the playoff hunt. So what we have in the D-League now is 3 teams fighting over 2 spots. 3 teams fighting over 2 spots. Winnipeg had a bye. They were the only team on a bye. They have 2 games left. They still have the capability of catching Calgary, who's currently at the 8th seed right now. The thing is they would need to win out the rest of their games, their last 2 games, and Calgary would have to lose their last 2 games, or Oakland, one of the 2. Needless to say, they would have to lose out. So that being said, they would have to lose out. My mistake. Yeah. So it would depend on how things go between Oakland and Calgary and what Winnipeg does. Needless to say, Winnipeg does need to win out. That being said, here are some of the scenarios going into this game day. Or actually, maybe I should tell you the games that are happening here on this May 16th edition. Chicago Wind Attack on the road against the Green Bay Dragons, and Chicago can clinch their division with just getting a single point. So overtime loss or better, or an Idaho tie or worse. So we'll see if Chicago can clinch their division on the road against the Green Bay Dragons in our opener here. Then, in a little bit, Nashville and Dayton, and San Francisco and New York going to be in our main event. So let's get down to the field where we'll have one of our questions answered. Green Bay Dragons home against Chicago Wind Attack. It's game time, fans. Welcome down to the field, fans, and it is time to smash off the last week of the 2016 regular season. A lot of things on the line for plenty of these teams. Only 3 games for each of these teams left to play throughout the week, and we're about to get smashed off here. As a matter of fact, 2 out of the last 3 game days are actually cross-conference game days, with a little divisional game day jammed right in the middle. You know, mixing it up like that, I suppose. But needless to say, it should be an entertaining game to start off this May 16th edition of CDL Live. Chicago Wind Attack, Green Bay Dragons, the playoff race, crazy right now. And the Chicago Wind Attack trying to accomplish a little bit of a something today here. Chicago can actually clinch their division with just a point. In other words, an overtime loss or better. And that's what they are trying to accomplish today. The Green Bay Dragons, though, on the other hand, they're trying to clinch a playoff spot, and they can do so with a win. So both them and Pittsburgh tie for that 6th seed right now in the Eastern Conference. They know that they can get a win and clinch a playoff spot today if they did get the win. So a big game for Green Bay here at home against the Chicago Wind Attack, who, of course, they've got their playoff spot clinched already in the Western Conference. Currently first place in the league, but trying to bounce back from a tough loss and get themselves that division title yet again. So they've won that Central Division title now for 5 years straight. So trying to make it 6 straight years here today. So Wind Attack and Dragons should be fun to watch. Chicago 24 wins, 8 losses, no ties, and 3 overtime losses. The Green Bay Dragons 19 wins, 12 losses, no ties, 4 overtime losses. Let's get a look at their lineups for today's match. So here we go, folks. The front runners on the field. Blue Dragon leading the way for the Wind Attack, and it is Inquisitor, the rookie out there for Green Bay, and able to stay up on that first go of things. Second collision, and yes, this game is underway here, and we got a flip. 5-0 Chicago. Blue Dragon taking down Inquisitor, who couldn't breakdance his way out of that one. And that brings out Shell now for the Dragons. One of the lowest cars in the league gets sacked down right away. 10-0 Wind Attack in the lead. Enter Toy Soldier for the Dragons, trying to keep his team in the game, and my goodness, wasn't even close. Got flipped quicker than a pancake at a Waffle House right there. 15-0, serving donuts for dinner. An easy trip to the bakery for Blue Dragon as he just goes out there and gets the job done today. And congratulations to Jim Hull Sr. and the Chicago Wind Attack. They are the 2016, for the 6th straight time, Central Division champions. With that win right there, it is a done deal. They will win that Central Division, no doubt about it. So that's how we start off CDL Live today. A demonstration of dominance. Unbelievable right there. 15-0 the final score. The Chicago Wind Attack getting the win over the Green Bay Dragons. And looking ahead for both teams here, Green Bay going to be looking to bounce back from this tough loss. They'll be in the main event of the May 18th game day, going head-to-head with the Bradford Brawlers. They'll be home against them. Definitely Green Bay going to look for something a lot better than what they had today. As for the Chicago Wind Attack, they now hunt down the top seed in the Western Conference and try to clinch home field advantage for the playoffs, basically. Trying to get in the league. Right now they are first place in the league, and they won't lose that today, no doubt. Chicago's next game, little Central Division showdown when they'll be on the road against the St. Louis Twisters before closing their season out home against the Hartford Homies, in case we're wondering long term. But needless to say, got more action coming up on this May 16th game day. Maybe it'll be a little bit closer, because there's no way that it can't not get any closer. Let's see, another 15-0 game, but should be an entertaining matchup coming up next. The Nashville Nighthawks and the Dayton Rebels. going head-to-head, two solid teams. And, of course, Dayton trying to clinch a division title with the win themselves. The captain with the win, or both Pittsburgh and Green Bay losing. Well, Green Bay lost, so Pittsburgh lost, but Dayton, they would like to do it with their own hands, I would definitely assume. As for the Nashville Nighthawks, they are fighting to hang on to trying to fight to get themselves back up into a playoff spot, not hang on to one. They've been knocked down the 10th seed, so the Nashville Nighthawks going to be trying to stay in the fight out in the West. So, but needless to say, Nighthawks, Rebels, next on CDL Live. Just got some highlights to go through first. Let's get you back to the curtain. Well, folks, congratulations has to go off to the Chicago Wind Attack for the 6th straight year they are the CDL's Central Division champions. Getting the job done, serving donuts for dinner on the road, no less. 15-0 the final. Now, heading into these highlights, the first set of highlights coming up, and then afterwards, we're going to have our mid-feature, Nashville Nighthawks, Dayton Rebels. Big game right here, right there, but we can give you a little scenario stuff of what's going on. Philadelphia can clinch their division with a win and a Boston loss. Here we go again, talking about the Dayton's division title run. But needless to say, Boston did clinch a playoff spot, as has Philadelphia. So now Philadelphia trying to go after that division, trying to chase down first place in the league as well. As a matter of fact, if anything, at least first in the East to have home field advantage all the way up to the Crash Bowl. But needless to say, but yes, a win and Boston loss can win them the Northeast Division title. The Dayton Rebels can clinch a division with a win or by both Pittsburgh and Green Bay losing. So Dayton with the winner, both Pittsburgh and Green Bay losing, well, needless to say, Green Bay is already lost. So, but Pittsburgh's game doesn't happen until the second set of highlights, so after the Dayton game. So the Rebels will have a chance to kind of save Pittsburgh the trouble, if you will, of even putting an effort forth, perhaps. But needless to say, looking to clinch their division title in our mid-feature. San Francisco could clinch the Pacific Division with a win and a Los Angeles loss. So that's what they need to do. They do hold the tiebreaker on the Blades for this season. Idaho can clinch a playoff spot with a win. And maybe both Phoenix and Nashville lose. I think they can do it with just a win, though, as a matter of fact. But I think they actually, yes, they do need Phoenix and Nashville to actually lose. San Jose, they could actually clinch a playoff spot with a win, and all Phoenix, Nashville, and Portland taking losses today. New Orleans could clinch a spot with a win, and same thing. Nashville, Phoenix, Portland all losing. Pittsburgh and Green Bay could both clinch a playoff spot with a win. Well, we know Green Bay certainly can't do that now, but Pittsburgh will certainly have their chance later on against Denver. Gowanda could clinch a playoff spot with a win, and all Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Bradford losing. I know this is getting long here as we go along. Carolina and Washington and Cleveland, they could be eliminated with a loss or a Gowanda win. Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Bradford could be eliminated with a loss and a Gowanda win. And Indianapolis, Denver, and New Mexico could all be eliminated with either a loss or a Roswell win. So, and Roswell coming into this game day actually at the 8th seed today. New Orleans, after the last game, they took back the lead in the Southern Division. So big stuff going on, a close race there. As a matter of fact, 3 teams within first place in the Southern Division. But let's go through this first set of highlights. I've been talking way too long, so go on ahead. Let's get a look around the league. So we started off our highlight reel with 2 teams playing for pride. San Antonio Kings, Puerto Rico players. Of course, playoffs out of the question for both teams, but it's Black Star and Sweet 16 starting things off, and Sweet 16 goes down. 5-0 Puerto Rico enter RPG now, trying to tie this game up. But look at Black Star playing some good defense and ends up getting the flip there. So a 2-0 start for Black Star, and he goes now against Moto Blade Jr. and wouldn't last long. Both cars going down off of their first collision. Black Star grabbing the win for the players here. Both teams eliminated from playoff contention, but doing it for pride's sake. Players 15, Kings 5, the final score. 2-0 in one day for Black Star. Same situation in our next game. Both teams playing for pride. San Diego Lightning, Hartford Homies, and 46 Junior out there against 7 Series to start things off. 46 Junior getting the flip, 5-0 Hartford, but in came Dirty Snow tying things up at 5. Now he went head-to-head with Redemption, and Redemption redeems 46 Junior and able to work out a tie with Teardrop right afterwards. So a 1-0-1 day for Redemption. Sets up his teammate Indy 5 trying to get the win against Hako, who was looking to force overtime, but no soup for you. Indy 5 getting the game-winning flip, and the Homies know that their playoff chances have been smashed and ruined. They aren't going to make it after being the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference last year. How mighty have fallen, but Tim guys are switching lines around. Just did not work out for the Homies this year, but they get a win today over the San Diego Lightning, a team that was kind of in a situation where we're trying to get back to the playoffs, and this season it just didn't work out for them. Final score 15-10, Homies getting the win over the Lightning. And it's the same situation in this game. Minnesota Maniacs on the road against the Detroit Devils, but it was Green 7 having one heck of a showing, worthy of any game day here as he takes on 24 Hours. He would have the flip on him, 5-0 Maniacs in the lead. Enter Cloud Cutter for Detroit. Good rookie, got some defensive skills, but Green 7, like I said, on point today. 10-0 Maniacs. Now out there against Padawan, who was trying to keep Detroit in the game, but it was just too much offense from Green 7 today, and the Maniacs just sit back and go, okay, where was that all season? Both teams already eliminated from playoff contention, and that'd be why they be saying, where was that all season, basically. But Green 7 goes 3-0, serves donuts for dinner. 15-0. Maniacs have the win over the Devils. So now that leads us to the New Mexico Monsters needing a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Monkey Ball out there to try to do it against Monkey here to lead things off for Miami. Mafia trying to play spoiler in this game. Good little fight between these two. Identical models, but Monkey Ball would get the flip. 5-0 New Mexico, but enter Neon, who would start off hot. Had the flip on Monkey Ball. Now out there against X-Wing. And both cars getting a couple of collisions in, but Neon starting his day 2-0, going for the win against Futurama, and Futurama sensing the urgency for the New Mexico Monsters, tying it up quickly right there. Knowing his team needs the win, out there against the rookie Aquachevel, takes him down right away, and now for the win against Mach 6, has it right there and makes defense look pretty in the process as we get another look in slow motion, the game-winning flip, able to stay up. Almost off screen there, no less, but Futurama getting the win for the New Mexico Monsters. Final score 15-10. He goes 3-0 from the captain spot in a little comeback win. And for now, the Monsters still in the playoff hunt. Just depends on what Roswell does, because Roswell could eliminate 3 different teams in the West just by winning today. So they'll be awaiting that game. That'll be coming up later. But moving on. The Philadelphia Demons looking to clinch the Northeast Division, and they could do it with a win and a Boston loss. Looking to do their part here. Off to a good start. Buzz off down at the hands of Silver Molina, but enter Dark Dragon for the Seattle Lumberjacks. The big underdogs in this game, but Dark Dragon, he can do some amazing things, as you can see right here. Another amazing survival tactic. Dark Dragon somehow, in slow motion, I'm going to put him in a K-pop video, able to stay up and continue the fight, and would have a flip on Silver Molina, but that would pit him against the legend Pink Indy. And I'd say I have every right to call him the legend. He has done some great things in his career. Future Hall of Famer, let's just say that much. And as you see him out here against Dark Dragon, getting the chances. Dark Dragon, though, putting up the good fight. No doubt about it. Gotta give him credit, but in the end, no match for Pink Indy in the very end. And Darkwing trying to keep his team alive, not meant to be. Seattle loses this one. Definitely, they were expected to, I guess you could say that. Philadelphia getting the 15-5 win, but Dark Dragon, give him credit for what he was capable of doing, of trying to keep his team in the game. But Pink Indy, the beast today, going 2-0, getting the job done. And now all the Demons need is a Boston loss. We'll see if that happens in a little while. So moving on now, the Gladiators trying to keep first place in the Southern Division out there against last place team in the league, the Atlanta Avengers, but putting up the fight here. Clown getting the flip on Elite there, now up there against Golden Rat, and Golden Rat would tie things up. So the Golden Wall holding for now as he took on Black Marinello. Of course, we're talking about Golden Rat, one half of the Golden Wall, but he gets taken down by Black Marinello, who went down himself. So 40 goes out there against Tigre. Game tied at 10. He doesn't have to worry about the Golden Wall. The interference right there, though. Both cars back to their own sides. And this time around, Tigre is down. So now 40 going for the win. The upset. Could he get it out there against Menace? Not meant to be. Menace forcing overtime. He would go head-to-head with Dark Knight. Tied at 15 in OT. And won't be an upset, but not a win for New Orleans is expected. Taking a tough tie here, so kind of missing out on a point, a should-have point, if you will. But needless to say, both teams walking away with 2 points from this one, 15-15, the final score in overtime. So we move on to the next matchup. San Jose Storm trying to hang on to the 6th seed in the West, maybe catch up to the 5th seed, perhaps, maybe. But Wasp going down right away at the hands of Pink Lamborghini, but enter Phantom, and Phantom was on point today as we see him at work here. Takes down Pink Lamborghini, tying the game at 5. Now out there against Kid Custom, and Kid Custom has some chances here as you are about to see. Look at this move by Phantom, able to somehow stay up, and on this move, both cars down, so we were tied at 10. So Charizard now out there against Power Pistons. Of course, Charizard a little bit more experience, and hey, finds a way to get it right away. Could he take advantage of it? Of course, Power Pistons, number 1 overall pick of the draft, but goes down on a right away there. It was just Charizard positioning himself, is how I like to say, getting himself in the right spot. And look at this move by 686, who was trying to force overtime for the Bandits. 15-10 at this point, but just beautiful stuff by 686. But unfortunately for him, he cannot prevail. A 1-0-1 day for Phantom sets up the 2-0 day for Charizard, and the Storm have the win over the New Jersey Bandits. 15-10 the final, and they are trying to catch up to Idaho for that 5th seed in the Western Conference. As a matter of fact, we're going to see how Idaho did now in this next highlight. So, like I said, moving on to Idaho, playing against Milwaukee. Milwaukee out of the hunt. They had Monty Jr. leading the way. He got taken down by 42nd. Now, keep in mind, 42nd as he goes to work here on Toyota and would eventually get the flip on here. Off to a 2-0 start, now ready for Cartman. Idaho can clinch playoff spot today with a win, and both Nashville and Phoenix losing. Something to keep in mind. So that's what they are fighting for, but unfortunately for 42nd, he would be taken down by Cartman, who keeps the mob alive. And now MX Dragster, the next opponent. Could it be too much offense for Cartman? Maybe not. Look at that defense from Cartman. We know that he is capable of those things. And right there, yet again, another pretty defensive maneuver. Mama put him in a K-pop video, and he believes he can fly. Gets the flip on MX Dragster, tying things up at 10. Perhaps a Captain Day on tap, maybe, perhaps. But Governor with different ideas, perhaps. 2 lightweight defensive cars, and Governor wins the battle there. But now Governor trying to put the game away against Hot Tub Jr. and just not meant to be. So, folks, we go into overtime. Tied at 15, Hot Tub Jr. and RDO2 for all the marbles. And RDO2 and Hot Tub Jr. A good little fight between the two, but off screen, after a couple of collisions, it was Hot Tub Jr. going down. RDO2 getting the win for the Idaho Cowboys in overtime. 20-15 the final. So they, well, at the very least, they will protect the 5th seed from San Jose. But not only that, with a little bit of help, they might have a playoff spot clinched by the end of this game day. And we end off our first set of highlights with a matchup between the Dallas Lone Stars and the Tampa Bay Gators. One team a division clinched, and that would be the Gators. And Dallas playing for pride, and that's certainly the way it looked at the beginning. Ratified, taking down Watsup. Now out there against Great Indy, and Great Indy would bring a good fight today, no doubt about it. Him and Ratified going head-to-head, definitely battling it out here. Some great collisions, some great survivals by both cars. You see the spin maneuver, a common maneuver between the two. And there, we had a good flip, but Dallas did disagree with it, so we would have a challenge. The play would go under review. Dallas challenging the call. We take another look in slow motion here, and the ruling on the field, after seeing that, would stand. So 10-0 Tampa Bay in the lead. And now Ratified would go for the shutout and take on Reptile. Reptile trying to keep his team in the game, and he's just a talented car, able to play defense and got a flip right there. Took down Ratified, and now out there against Battle. This one was a little controversial. Off screen, no interference called. Battle was down, and it was a good flip, but non-reviewable, really. Couldn't see where he goes. So now out there against 47 Ronin. Game tied at 10. Reptile looking for a captain's day, but look at the move by 47 Ronin real quick. Do a barrel roll, somehow able to dance his way back up and then gets the flip. Tampa Bay back in the lead. So the score now 15-10. Now out there against Purple 300 ZX, who had a good shot there, but not going to be enough. You see he had the weight advantage, but 47 Ronin, 2015 MVP, getting the job done, no doubt about it, as the Gators still on a quest to clinch the second seed, maybe even get to the first seed, but tough to keep up with the Philadelphia Demons. But needless to say, a 2-1 day for Ratified, 2-0 day for 47 Ronin. Some great stuff. 15-10 the final score. Gators getting the win over the Dallas Lone Stars. Tough fought win, good team finding a way to win. Let's get you to the curtain and on to the mid-feature. Well, folks, it is time for our mid-feature. A lot of teams looking at this game, and Dayton certainly has a reason to win it, as does Nashville, who's now on the outside looking in the playoff hunt. But Nashville Nighthawks, Dayton Rebels, let's get you down to the field. Welcome back to the field for our mid-feature CDL fans. Yes, halfway through this May 16th game day here in the Car Demolition League. Starting off, like I said previously, last week of the regular season. So, the first of those 3 game days in this last week. But needless to say, the Nashville Nighthawks on the road against the Dayton Rebels. It's our mid-feature today, this cross-conference game day. And we get a look at the Nashville Nighthawks here. 62 points on the season from a record of 19 wins, 11 losses, no ties, 5 overtime losses. Nashville, with that record, a pretty solid record, sitting 10th place in the Western Conference. The West just very tough this year. They are only 2 points out of a playoff spot, though, tied with the Phoenix Firebirds for the 9th seed. And their opponents today, they got reason to play themselves. The Dayton Rebels. With Tampa Bay moving up to the 70-point mark, that pushed Dayton to 3rd place in the standings. Dayton needs a win to keep 2nd place in the standings. Actually, I think maybe even a tie would do that, but they would need a win here. It would be huge if they could get it. A win would actually clinch the Northern Division for the Dayton Rebels. Now, with Green Bay taking the loss, that helps. They could also clinch the division with Pittsburgh taking a loss. But Dayton has the chance here at home. Pittsburgh hasn't played yet, as you know. But Pittsburgh has not played yet. But needless to say, the Dayton Rebels with the chance to take matters into their own hands. With the win, they would become Northern Division champions. A feat they have not accomplished since their first season in the league back in 2008. So, it's been a while for the Dayton Rebels, but needless to say, they take on the Nashville Nighthawks here in this matchup. 2 teams hoping for playoffs in the later parts of May and into June. We'll see if which one of these teams can take a closer step. We already know the Dayton Rebels are going to the playoffs, but what seed will they be is another question. For the Nashville Nighthawks, it's all about just getting into the dance right now. Let's get a look at the lineups. Nighthawks, Rebels.
Let him
So the front runners on the field, in case I didn't mention it, 22-11, 0-2 is the record of the Dayton Rebels. No fear out there for the Nashville Nighthawks, and that is Zapper out there for the Dayton Rebels. Game on, both cars staying up, so no fear and Zapper. Bringing offense to the field, Zapper has a good flip, 5-0 Rebels in the lead. And that will now bring out Orange Chevelle for the Nighthawks. That time, very close to an interference there. Both cars staying up, switching sides, and my goodness, the whole grill of Orange Chevelle just popped out right there. Who wants a souvenir from that one, Mike? What a hit. When you pop a car's grill out, you've got to be doing something right. But needless to say, Orange Chevelle riding through it right now, and that time off my finger, it is an interference. So, I'll go at it yet again. As Zapper looks for that clean flip here and not going to be able to get it. It's Orange Chevelle tying the game up at 5 apiece, which will bring out Toe for the Dayton Rebels. And my goodness, what a move. Maybe that weight was holding them down from doing things. Folks, you can see there's no string. There's no string. The way he is able to dance around that. But needless to say, matchup carrying it on, and a great move by Orange Chevelle. Both cars doing some great stuff. I was just about to call Toe down, but he rolled himself back up, and now both cars are going to be down. Wait, give it a second. Anyone? Any jack in the boxes here? But needless to say, both cars are down. We got a 10-10 game. That leads to the battle between Extinguish and Sub-Zero now. So, you know, I find these moments where I'm speechless, and I am speechless that Extinguish just went down that quick. So quickly he got flipped right there, and Sub-Zero moving on to Kodak now. Nashville trying to force overtime, and could it be? Not right there. Both cars staying up. Wait for the moment, the Kodak moment right there. Kodak getting the flip on Sub-Zero, and he has sent this game into overtime. My goodness, I can't even keep track of it anymore. My lord, right here. We got a 15-15 game, Nighthawks and Rebels in OT. Kodak out there for the Nighthawks, and it's El Rey for the Dayton Rebels in overtime. And both cars able to dance their way back out. And that time there is an interference. So that one, Kodak saving himself. He'll go at it yet again and gets taken down that time around. It is a good flip, and the game comes to its end. The Dayton Rebels have done it. They have clinched the Northern Division title. 2016 Northern Division champions, the Dayton Rebels, and they end a very long reign that was held by the Pittsburgh Destroyers. I believe now it was for 7 straight seasons. I believe it was 6 or 7 straight seasons, as a matter of fact, that the Pittsburgh Destroyers were Northern Division champions. Not anymore. The Dayton Rebels get the job done. They are the 2016 Northern Division champions of the Car Demolition League. Congrats going out to them here on this game day, getting the win. They are division champs, and for the Nashville Nighthawks, a tough loss. It sits them to, pardon me, folks. That sits them to 63 points with the OT loss. They do get a point out of it, but the thing is, let's see, Nashville had 68, so that point alone is actually keeping them alive to catch San Jose. So the Storm, because of that point that Nashville just got, has not clinched a playoff spot. For any of those who are wondering, like, well, what does that mean? They get a point from overtime. Well, that's basically what happened. Looking ahead for both of these teams, I'm not sure if I mentioned Green Bay and Chicago. I'm pretty sure I did. Chicago at St. Louis, Green Bay home against Bradford. It's the main event of the next CDL Live. Well, for these teams, the Nashville Nighthawks, their next game, they'll continue their playoff campaigning, if you want to put it that way. Hey, it's better than a Trump rally. Anyhow, less violent. Sorry. Going into politics. I'll stay out of it. Hey, Hillary ain't no better. As we move on here, the Nashville Nighthawks, their next game day, on the road against the Denver Mustangs, and then afterwards, the Nashville Nighthawks going to find themselves home against the New York Empire on the season finale. The Dayton Rebels home against the Pittsburgh Destroyers on the next game day. So basically rub that division title into the faces of the team that has held it for so long. And then on the season finale, on the road against the San Antonio Kings. So what comes up for the Dayton Rebels in the last 2 game days. So quite some stuff. Speaking of the Bradford Brawlers, I think I've just mentioned them. Their main event in the next edition of CDL Live. Well, they are in the midst of a playoff hunt right now, and they are going to lead off the next highlight reel, as a matter of fact. Bradford taking on St. Louis. So a team playing for pride against a team that's legitimately playing for something a little bit more than that. That being said, let's get you back to the curtain and get you ready for that second set of highlights. Final score here, 20-15 in OT. Rebels getting the win over the Nighthawks. Well, folks, in overtime, the Dayton Rebels do something that they haven't done since they first came in the league in 2008, and that is win the Northern Division title. So congratulations to the 2016 Northern Division champions, the Dayton Rebels. 20-15 in overtime, getting the win over the Nashville Nighthawks, and that overtime point could play some havoc on the standings. For example, even if San Jose were to win now, they might not clinch a playoff spot because of that. So a big point there for Nashville that still keeps them alive in some vicinity when we talk about playoff hunts. During the first highlight reel, though, you saw Idaho defeating Milwaukee, so Idaho just might clinch a playoff spot because Idaho was ahead of San Jose, so that loss might not affect them. That being said, second set of highlights. You already know all the scenarios. I told you them all. So let's go through the rest of this league's games here on this May 16th game day. So we start off our second set of highlights. St. Louis Twisters, Bradford Brawlers. Of course, the Brawlers only 4 points out of a playoff spot coming into this game day. And Escalade definitely senses the urgency. Gets the flip on Rowdy to start things off. And now out there against Silver Indy, make it a 10-0 game. A 2-0 start for Escalade. Going for the shutout against Iridium. Lightweight defensive car in Iridium putting up a good fight, as you're seeing here. Dual barrel roll, able to stay in it, but Escalade showing some good moves of his own. And I was almost on it right here, able to get the flip, but he almost did like a little spin maneuver there. And but needless to say, Escalade staying up through the whole thing, gets the flip on Iridium, and it's a good win for Bradford, a much needed win. St. Louis trying to play for pride, not much to be prideful about right there. 15-0 the final score. Escalade and the Brawlers serving donuts for dinner. So we move on now. The Bangums trying to stay ahead of the Brawlers in the standings, needing a win to do it. Testarossa leading the way for them against the Houston Oilers, and we have a flip right there on White Ferrari now out there against Nickel and Diamond, who was ready to fight today, but Testarossa was just bringing his A game, all of his smash mouth offense. In effect, has a 2-0 start now out there against Racer X, and we're gonna see Testarossa playing like a defensive car. Look at this, do a barrel roll, somehow able to stay up. But Racer X says, hold on, anything you can do, I can do better. So we take another look at this in slow motion, somehow able to stay up and keep the fight going, but it ends right there afterwards. So to no avail for Racer X. Donuts served for dinner. Testarossa finding his way to the bakery, goes 3-0, and the Bangums have an impressive 15-0 win over the Houston Oilers, keeping the 10th seed and, hey, hoping for a little help from maybe Buffalo taking a loss perhaps. But needless to say, doing his job. Testarossa 3-0, Bangums get the win. So moving on, Denver Mustangs needing a win to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Pittsburgh Destroyers trying to take the 6th seed from the Green Bay Dragons, and that's a cross-conference thing. Of course, Denver in the West, and even with the win, their chances could be ruined by Roswell, but off to a good start here. Purple Custo had the flip on WA-17, moves on to Zebra now, and Zebra eventually sets him down. So now out there against 24 Hours, and 24 Hours off screen is down. So 10-5, Zebra has him in the lead, going for the win now. Red Detta out there trying to keep Denver alive, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, does right there against Zebra. Now against Blue BMW, and yes, we had to measure that one out. Who gets what side? Well, after concluding, they would go back to their own side, and Red Detta, too much for Blue BMW. Looking to put the game now against Epic Fast and having to pull off some defense. Red Detta, the rookie, number 4 overall pick of the draft, do a barrel roll, and following it up with a flip right afterwards. So Red Detta getting the job done for the Denver Mustangs. I believe that was a 3-0 game day for him, as a matter of fact, to get that job done. So keep in mind, if the Aliens win, the Mustangs will still be eliminated from the playoffs. But for now, the Destroyers going to stick in the 7th seed, of course, providing that Gowanda doesn't catch up or whatnot. You know, certain circumstances, folks. But a good win for the Mustangs, 15-10 the final. They have the win over the Pittsburgh Destroyers. And we move to the match between the Panthers and the Vandals. Panthers trying to keep up in the playoff race, while the Vandals trying to keep up in the Northeast Division title race. And it was Blue Dragon 2 leading the way for the Vandals against Purple Fire. He had a flip on Purple Fire. Now out there against Monty from the Portland side. And Monty shoving him back here, but using the weight to his own advantage. Blue Dragon 2 starting things off 2-0. Now faced off against Who. Looking for the win here, and Who able to survive and get the flip right there. Now out there against Nitro, looking to tie this game up. He would have to go for a captain's day today, no doubt. Definitely something Portland needed, and off to that start. 2-0 start for Who here. So now Who against Vendetta. Game tied at 10. Portland trying to make the comeback happen, but Vendetta so good defensively, as we see a couple of times here, and this time around getting the flip, and yes, it's a whole highlight reel there for Vendetta. Look at these moves. Do a barrel roll. Able to somehow, every single time, stay upright here and gets the flip. 15-10. Vandals back in the lead. 1975 now out there for Portland, trying to force overtime. Both cars able to stay up there. Some great defense from both cars, but in the end, Vendetta just too much for him. Getting the job done for the Vandals, who've got a playoff spot clinched now, but a big win to keep them alive in that Northeast Division title hunt. Let's face it, they lost here today. I believe it was a loss in regulation. If they had taken Philadelphia, would have clinched the division, but they stay 4 points behind them in the standings. 2-1 day for Blue Dragon 2, and then the 2-0 day for Vendetta. 15-10 the final. Vandals get the win over the Panthers. Now we move on to two teams in the same situation. A loss would eliminate them from the playoffs, and even if they won, a certain team could knock them out. For Indianapolis, that would be Roswell. For Cleveland, that would be Gowanda. But needless to say, right there, Octanium was down off screen, and staying up off screen was Phoenix. They started the game off, and it was 5-0 Indianapolis. Now enter Aqua Ferrari, and he gets taken down by Phoenix, 10-0. Now Phoenix going for the shutout against Bully Goat, and of course both these teams gonna have games to watch later, perhaps. Well, at least one of them will, and it'd be the winner of this game. And that being said, right there, Bully Goat down, Phoenix up off screen, close to interference, but none to be had. 15-0 the final score of this one. Indianapolis Reapers getting the win over the Cleveland Wolves. Big day for Phoenix right there. The rookie getting the job done, goes 3-0, serves donuts for dinner. 15-0 final, but the Reapers still gotta worry about the Aliens, because if the Aliens win, they'll be eliminated, but the Wolves have been eliminated from the playoffs here in 2016. And we move on now to a big matchup for both these teams involved. The Nevada Thunder, 7th seed in the West, trying to hang on to a playoff spot, of course, and Buffalo, 19th East, and off to a good start here. A good flip there on White Indy. Look at that move by Tyrell, able to get the flip, and now out here against Yellow Spider. Keep in mind, Buffalo trying to keep up in that playoff hunt, and Tyrell won 0-1 today. So Green Blaze coming out with Buffalo having a 10-5 lead, looking for the win against Hornet. And Hornet right away, close to an interference, but Green Blaze is down, and it was tied at 10. So now, Hornet versus what, and what a move by what. Look at this one. Mama put him in a K-pop video, able to somehow dance his way back up there, keeping the fight, and Hornet keeping the pressure on him, forcing what to play defense. And that's kind of how I think it is with hockey too. You got to force a goalie to be great. Well, you got to force defensive cards to be great. Hornet did get the flip on him. Now out there against Paradox, and look at another great defensive move from the Buffalo side. Paradox staying up somehow, some way, and these two would have a great battle as Paradox try to force overtime for the Warriors, but in the end, going to be to no avail right there. Hornet getting the game-winning flip, Great day for him, going 3-0 from the captain spot, and he's hot right now, and that's exactly how Nevada needs him to be. 3-0 from that captain spot, 15-10 the final score. The Nevada Thunder on the road finding a way to beat the Buffalo Warriors, getting the job done, hanging on to the 7th seed, and with any luck, hey, a couple of teams helping them, they can move up to maybe 6th seed by the end of this day. Of course, trying to catch up to San Jose in that Western Conference playoff race. But Jacksonville and Bradford moving past Buffalo to 9th seed. Moving on along, the Aliens can knock out 3 teams in the West with a win, and Carolina needs a win to stay alive in this playoff hunt. So tie game to start things off. Dragon Jr. and F1 Racer both going down, and then Miku, the Crash Cat, taking an interest in this game. Look at her checking out the Roswell line. Like, what's going on here? So yes, Roswell with a win. My goodness, Miku won't let the game get underway, but Dragonfly and Mellow 51, they are ready to go, and eventually Miku would lose interest in the Roswell Aliens, and Dragonfly would get the flip on Mellow 51, now looking for the win against Wen. And Wen pulling off a great defensive maneuver there, and he was just ready to impress today. But look at Dragonfly right here, returning the favor, and Roswell's been needing this. So Roswell knows with the win here, they can knock 4 teams out of the playoff hunt, and they'd be more than happy to do so. But in the end, Wen wants Carolina to stay alive in the playoff hunt, obviously, as he now takes on Spectite. Game tied at 10, a back and forth match, no doubt, as these teams were going at it, both hungry for the win. Of course, Roswell trying to tie New Orleans for the division lead, and hey, got the flip there on Wen. Now Spectite for the win, and almost had it there. Interference saving 2-timer, but so nice. Spectite says he would do it twice. That time, 2-timer, slightly off screen, and down cleanly. 15-10 the final. The Aliens getting the win, and with that win, they have eliminated the Indianapolis Reapers, Denver Mustangs, New Mexico Monsters, and yes, even the Carolina Wildcats now, all eliminated from the 2016 playoff hunt. And Roswell has tied with New Orleans for first place in the Southern Division. A great 2-0 day for Spectite to help them get this win. Definitely a win that they very much needed. Next game we move to the Blades and the Outlaws. Of course, the Blades trying to keep in the hunt for the Pacific Division, trying to keep up with San Francisco. Far future, not off to a good start. Gets taken down by Lamborghini and the 8th-seeded Gowanda Outlaws, who are trying to spread that lead that they have over the 9th seed, and the rest of the team's trying to catch them. But Cove Light catches up for LA in this game, now out there against Hammer, and has a flip on Hammer. So, a good day so far for Cove Light. He's 2-0, now looking for the win against Sonic Boom. Could he get it? Well, Sonic Boom, he came to work today. Look at that defensive maneuver. You can put him in a K-pop video for crying out loud, because he can dance his way out of some situations, and in the end works out a tie with Cove Light. So a 2-0-1 day for Cove Light sets up Greelina to try to get the win on Cockroach here. And Cockroach trying to force overtime, and Greelina having struggles as of late, and well folks, they continue yet again today. Cockroach forces OT, where he faces Pink Indy Jr. now from the Blade side. The defending back-to-back world champions trying to get a win, trying to win yet another division title, and Cockroach not making it easy. Look at these defensive maneuvers. Roll that beautiful beam footage. He believes he can fly and doing barrel rolls left and right, staying in the game, but Pink Indy Jr., you seen his picture there? Yeah. It's because he will not be denied getting the flip that wins the game in overtime. So Gowanda really can't take full advantage of Buffalo losing, but they do get a point from this game. The Blades, however, at least going to be able to keep the pace with the Shinobis if they were to get a win, and in the main event. Or, well, we don't know if they will, but needless to say, a good win for LA. Comes in OT, 20-15 the final. 2-0-1 day for Cove Light. Follow that up with the game winner by Pink Indy Jr. And this would be the match now to end our highlight reel here today. Phoenix Firebirds, Washington Patriots, big game for both teams, and Landlord would have the opening flip here, staying up off screen. Green arrow down, 5-0 Patriots, and that would bring out Mika, and this time around, both cars down. So a 1-0-1 day for Landlord, knowing that his Patriots need a win to stay alive in the playoff hunt today, setting up Black Phantom to get that win right here against Stock 34. Stock 34, look at that move, do a barrel roll, able to stay up and in the game here, and this time around would have a flip on Black Phantom, who was down off screen. Of course, Phoenix, knowing that 4th through 8th place won, so them being 9th place in the West, they better get a win to keep up the pace, but things not going well. Stock 34 down there against Ratitude, and now Ratitude going for the win against Glitter. So, Glitter trying to force overtime for Phoenix, and yes, it's just no soup for you, not gonna work. And the Patriots staying alive for now in that playoff hunt, and for Phoenix, a tough loss to take. 9th place in the West, and to know that 5th through 8th place in your, well, actually 4th through 8th place in your conference got a win, and you being 9th could not. Definitely a hurtful loss for Phoenix right there, but a big win for the Patriots to keep their hopes alive. Folks, no team having a bye today as we get set for our main event, San Francisco Shinobis and the New York Empire. As a matter of fact, last game day, San Diego and New Jersey, last two teams that have a bye all season. So Shinobis and Empire set to go head-to-head. Big game for both teams. New York is in a fight to try to take that 4th seed. It's been a challenging one, considering they lost to Boston twice this season already. The Shinobis, tough luck for them. The Blades did get a win, so the Shinobis looking to get a win to stay 3 points ahead of them. So they won't be able to clinch the division title with the win, but they can certainly get a step closer by doing so. So should be a fun game. Plus, Black Bullet 1 of the Shinobis versus Black Bullet 2, the franchise, in the New York Empire. So two of the same model cars came in the same year, as a matter of fact, both going head-to-head. As a matter of fact, I think they went number 1 and 2 in the 2014 draft, if I remember correctly. So should definitely be a fun matchup. Empire and Shinobis, let's get you down to the field. And we are back down on the field yet again for the last time here on this May 16th game day. And after this matchup, only 2 game days left to go here in the 2016 CDL regular season. What a match we have set to take place here. The San Francisco Shinobis on the road to battle with the New York Empire. Black Bullet 1 not at that captain spot today, but both these teams going with these weird kind of lineups. I think San Francisco trying to draw Black Bullet 2 to the middleman spot did not work, but a little change. They got Diesel Boy at the front runner spot today. So the Empire switching some things up. A little different look from the Shinobis. Yeah, I wonder how this one might work out. Should be very interesting, though, to say the least. The Shinobis know fully well that they could knock the San Jose Storm out of the division title hunt with a single point here. They do know that. But they know they want to stay ahead of the LA Blades, who got up to 74 points. Well, where does San Francisco sit? 74 points currently. The Shinobis, 24 wins, 9 losses, no ties, and 2 overtime losses. Taking on the 19-10, 3-3 New York Empire, whose chances of winning a division have been thwarted here today. With Philadelphia getting the win, knocked them out of the Northeast Division title hunt. But they are still trying to hunt down that 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, and if they don't win this game, it will actually be clinched by Boston or Philly, whichever team would end up having it. Right now looking more like Boston. So big game for the Empire here, as they are still trying to fight for that home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. San Francisco Shinobis, they're trying to keep up with the first place team in the league. Chicago got a win to get 4 points ahead of the Shinobis, and with the win, San Francisco could close it back down to 1 point. So you know the scenarios at this point. Big game for both sides. Of course, the Shinobis know that they could basically, with another win this game and yet another win on the next game day, they could have a division clinched, quite frankly. So something the Shinobis most certainly you got to think are striving for. So San Francisco Shinobis, New York Empire. Let's get a look at the lineups.
What they in? Is this a movie? Attack the leaf villages where my crew be. What is it like to be a shinobi? My ninjas feel you for your filming. Good soup. Empty and made, got you feeling like a champion. The
F3 leads the way for the San Francisco Shinobis, and it'll be Diesel Boy leading the way for the New York Empire. Game is on. Diesel Boy, normally they're 5-point gainer, but he gets sat down there, so F3 making it 5-0 San Francisco. Enter challenge now for the Empire. He gets sat down. Flip quicker than a pancake at a Waffle House on a Friday, or no, on a Sunday. You're right, Jimbo. Can't even remember his own lines. Anyways, Black Bullet 2 now out there. The franchise for the New York Empire now trying to keep them in the game. Can he do so here as he takes on F3? Heavy kind of smash-mouth offense car. Almost had a flip there. Able to stay up the defense of Black Bullet 2. It is some good style of defense. So you switch the visitor side now. Almost going down again. And F3 really applying the pressure and digging in on him there. They will keep opposite sides of the field here. Go at it yet again. And the match is truly on between these two. And this time, a trip to the bakery is completed. 15-0 the final of this one. A shocking domination here. I kind of have to say it's a shocking one. I would have definitely expected more out of New York in this game, but the Empire totally blown away by the Shinobis. San Francisco getting the win over New York. 15-0 the final score. Shinobis dominating the Empire here on this game day. Unbelievable stuff. And that's pretty much sealed the deal. The Empire, at best, are going to take 5th seed. In the East, they can kiss home field goodbye. But for the Shinobis, they are now just one win away from clinching the Pacific Division title. And they'll have a chance to do it on the next game day. But it is going to be a tough one, no doubt. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the mid-feature on our May 18th edition of CDL Live. San Francisco Shinobis, home against the Philadelphia Demons. Second place team overall in the West, in the league for that matter, against the third place team in the league. The first place team in the East in Philadelphia. So, yeah, buckle up, baby, because that one is going to be insane, or at least I would definitely think it should be insane. The New York Empire, going to be a tough loss to bounce back from. They at least can take comfort knowing they do have a playoff spot clinched, but not the results they were looking for there. They'll look for better May 18th game day on the road against Northeast Division rivals, the New Jersey Bandits, and that's pretty much how it goes. San Francisco, after playing Philadelphia, will end their season home against Jacksonville, and after being on the road against the Bandits, New York ending their season on the road against the Nashville Nighthawks. Next edition of CDL Live, May 18th edition, the second last regular season edition. Starting things off, Jacksonville Bangums, Phoenix Firebirds, two teams still hot in the playoff race. Big matchup between those two teams. Then, mid-feature, Philadelphia and San Francisco. Another cross-conference battle, even though most of the games on this game day are divisional. But we do have a divisional matchup as our main event. A little Northern Division showdown with some playoff implications definitely involved. The Bradford Brawlers on the road against the Green Bay Dragons. Going to be main event that May 18th edition of CDL Live. That being said, James Hulse here, owner and creator of the Car Demolition League. Thanking you for watching. Wish we could have had some closer games. I mean, we had 2 shutouts today, but hey, folks, those of you that like to see dominating performances, you definitely got what you asked for today. Let's put it that way. But needless to say, thank you for watching. Thanks for the support all season. Hopefully we'll have it for the last 2 regular season game days. Playoffs starting very soon. As a matter of fact, folks, 1 week from today, the playoffs begin. So the quest for Crash Bowl 20 really starting to get close to that point where, yes, it will be playoffs. 1 week from today, we will see the playoffs begin in the Car Demolition League. With that being said, James Hulse here, owner and creator of the Car Demolition League. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care of yourself, be yourselves, and peace. Let's get a look at them standings.
What they in? Is this a movie? Attacking the league villages villages where my crew be. What is it like to be a shinobi? My ninjas feel you for you feel me. Ah, good.